This is my Spore Warden Graveborn build with a focus on companions. It's super fun and the build I use to get myself to Chaos level 20. Alright, let's start with the Graveborn skill tree. First let's talk about the capstone, since it's kind of like what holds this whole build together. So, Morhaim's Blessing, I think that's how you pronounce it. Basically, this skill makes it so every time you cast a spell, you activate all your kill skills, and we have quite a few in this build, including Dark Hydras, which gives us a chance to spawn even more companions. Up to tier 1, let's start with Faithful Thralls, another core skill to this build. Each companion that is active, we get a 9% damage buff. Simple, but really effective. Then we put 2 into Essence Drain, just gives us better spell cooldown. And then down to Harvest, we put 3 points, which gives all of our companions dark magic damage. Then we have Sanguine's Sacrament, I think I pronounced that right, gives us 15 HP regen per second each time we cast a spell, which we basically always are doing in this build. Then we have 2 into Stain of the Soul, just gives us a little bit bonus dark magic damage. Then we have 3 into Dark Hydras. This is another core skill. Every time we cast a spell or kill an enemy, we have a 60% chance to spawn a Hydra companion. Also deals dark magic damage, which is nice. 1 point into Punishment to give our Demi-Lich companion a chance to use Dire Blast twice, just helps with DPS a little bit. Ascension, 3 points, kill skill that stacks to give higher max HP and spell damage. Lord of the Edges is just a 1 point, Fate Maker gains increased damage dealt and damage reduction the lower their health. Helps with survivability. Blast Gasp, or whenever we cast a spell, there's a chance to cause an explosion for extra damage. And then we have Morhaim's Blessing, which we talked about earlier. Over in the Spore Warden's tree, we first have Kindred Hearts, which we put 5 out of 5. That gives us companion health and companion damage. Then 1 into Spore Cloud, which is a great poison AoE skill for our Mushroom Companion. 5 into Bullseye, gives us 50% gun and companion critical chance. 1 point into Medicinal Mushroom. This skill is amazing. This gives your mushroom companion the ability to revive you. There's been times I was in Fight for Your Life and it was going to drop to 0 in like half a second. But if you're standing right on top of him, he immediately starts reviving you. Huge lifesaver, definitely get this skill. Then 3 into Windrunner. This is another kill skill that just gives us movement speed and fire rate. Great and simple. And then we have Thrill of the Hunt. Every time we do gun critical hits, increases our companion's damage for a duration, stacks up to 10. That's all the skills. Now let's talk about gear. I used a Fragment Rain that created Hydras on reload, but eventually I got a chaotic version that didn't have it. Overall, it's not a huge deal. You're already spawning a ton of companions with your kill skills anyways, and all of my other weapons are just kind of meta weapons. So if you wanted to farm for a Hydra version of this gun, you can, but it's really not required. For the most part, I just use a liquid cooling, chaotic, does amazing damage and melts a ton of stuff. And then once that runs out of ammo, I start using my other weapons. For melee weapon, you can go with a snake stick. It spawns a Hydra companion for 6 seconds when you hit something. But I found that going for a more damaging melee weapon worked better, since 6 seconds really doesn't stick around for too long, especially if you aren't normally going for melees. For rings, looking for ally prefixes, those will always give you companion damage. For rings, look for ally prefixes. This will further buff companion damage. Shield is whatever you want. I didn't find anything that synergizes with the build, just pick something that fits your style. For a class mod, I have a Druid Smart Armor. Anything that buffs companion damage, HP, works just fine. For the spell, I used an Arcane Bolt. This is a great simple spell, 6.3 second cooldown, which you can constantly just spam. For the amulet, I have a Sacrificial Sheep. This is one of the best defensive amulets in the game. When you drop below 50%, it spawns a Skeep, which constantly heals you and always gives you an easy fight for your life target. that's all I have for the build. I'm going to throw some gameplay at the end here. If you have any critiques or suggestions, just let me know in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. See ya.
Oh, I hate this spinning guy. But the liquid cooling comes in clutch.
I blame you for trying. Energy sapped. That's the good stuff. I think not.